to believe that I may have stumbled upon something great. Now, usually I don't like to speak on an idea that I think is a good idea because most of my ideas probably aren't even worth anything. This one seems a little different. I don't know. So now, before I go into what it is, and it's not going to be me talking, and I recorded it. But before I go into what it is, I think it's important to know just a couple of things. I like to operate on a universal law, something that can be applied so broadly that it is inescapable. And I like to do this because of my mentality. I am a, how shall I say, a hunter. I like to get the thing, and I don't like escape. That said, this is at this point a theory. I'm calling it a law, and I will refer to it as a law in the theory, but it's theory. It's not ratified, not recognized, not tested, other than, how shall I say, cognitively tested. And up against all of my cognitive tests, thought itself follows this law. Light follows this law. Things with and without mass follow this law. Groups of beings, be they people or beast or creeping thing, insects, whether they're on the earth or in the air, follow this law. And now here it is.
Fractionalization is a universal law of adaptive motion. It describes how any moving body, physical, biological, or even conceptual, responds when it encounters resistance. Rather than stopping, motion adapts. It adjusts its path, divides its trajectory into smaller vectors, and continues forward until it reestablishes its original course or discovers a new one. This behavior is not isolated to human action or mechanical systems. It is nature's underlying algorithm. Everything that moves fractionalizes. When a moving body meets resistance, it deviates by a measurable angle known as the deviation angle, represented as theta. The deviation depends on two things: the resistance encountered, r, and the adaptability of the body itself, f phi. Expressed simply, theta equals f phi r. The greater the resistance or the greater the adaptability, the more defined the angle of deviation. This principle applies continuously in time as well. D theta dt equals phi divat r dt. In other words, motion adjusts dynamically as resistance changes. This is not a concept limited to any one environment or form of life. It is a consistent law observed throughout the universe. In outer space, fractionalization can be seen in the motion of celestial bodies. An asteroid traveling through the solar system, for instance, follows a projected course. Yet, when influenced by the gravity of a nearby planet, it deviates, not because it has lost energy, but because the resistance, in this case gravitational resistance, redirects its path. The asteroid fractionalizes its trajectory to continue in motion while accounting for the new force acting upon it. Similarly, light itself fractionalizes. When light travels through space and encounters the curvature of spacetime near a massive body, it bends, a process known as gravitational lensing. Even photons, which have no rest mass, fractionalize their paths to continue movement under altered conditions. In biological systems, fractionalization defines life itself. The circulatory system is one of the clearest examples. Blood does not move in a single straight path from the heart to every cell. It encounters valves, pressure changes, and varying vessel diameters. Each point of resistance forces the blood to fractionalize, to divide, reroute, and adjust until the entire organism remains nourished. On a cellular level, the same is true. When a signal molecule encounters blockage or interference, the cell's communication system fractionalizes the signal, finding alternate pathways through receptor networks to achieve transmission. It is this principle that allows biological systems to remain adaptive, self-correcting, and alive. Even human thought fractionalizes. When the mind meets contradiction or resistance, whether intellectual, emotional, or environmental, thought does not simply stop. It splits. The brain searches alternate routes, adjusts associations, and constructs new reasoning paths until resolution is found. Every cognitive breakthrough, every moment of creativity or problem solving, is a case of fractionalization. The neural network adapts its trajectory around resistance, forming new connections to continue mental motion. The process of learning itself is fractionalization in real time. Fractionalization is also visible in social systems. When a population encounters resistance, economic, political, or cultural, the collective movement does not end. It adapts, redistributes energy, and reforms its path. Migration patterns, for instance, are human fractionalization on a civilizational scale. Even traffic systems exhibit this behavior. When a road closes, vehicles do not stop. They find alternate paths until flow resumes. The same logic applies to data networks, ecological systems, and markets. All dynamic systems that sustain motion in the face of resistance operate according to the law of fractionalization. This principle is independent of energy loss. It does not measure dissipation, it measures adaptation. It explains why motion persists through resistance, why systems adjust rather than collapse, and why nature always finds a way forward. Fractionalization is not a metaphor. It is an observable, measurable behavior shared by all systems that move, interact, and evolve. It is the bridge between physics, biology, and cognition, a universal equation underlying all adaptive motion. Fractionalization is, in essence, how the universe thinks. It is not central to any one domain. It is the operational logic of existence itself. From asteroids to atoms, from thought to bloodstream, from society to the flow of galaxies, everything that moves fractionalizes. This is the law of adaptive motion, and it defines the continuity of movement across all scales of reality.